The air on Voron 6 was heavy with ash and ozone. Once a thriving colony world, it was now nothing but a scarred battlefield between the humans of the Terran frontier and the KRYLL Dominion, a reptilian race known for their brutality and cold precision. Private Eli Mercer had been separated from his unit after a surprise orbital bombardment. The comms were dead, his rifle was fried, and he'd been walking for 2 days under a blood-red sky, trying to find a signal or even a friendly corpse with a working beacon. But instead, he found her. She stood amid the wreckage of a downed gunship, tall, elegant, her armor blackened and cracked, and her 4 eyes glowing faintly blue beneath a fractured helmet. She wasn't human. Not even close. A KRYLL, and judging by the intricate runes etched into her armor plates, a high-ranking one. Eli froze, hand halfway to his combat knife. She turned toward him slowly, like a predator curious about its prey. "Human," she hissed, her voice a strange blend of melody and threat. "You shouldn't be alive." "Yeah," Eli said with a dry chuckle. "I've been hearing that a lot lately." The alien warrior tilted her head, her ridged crest twitching in confusion. "You don't run?" she asked. "You see your enemy, and you don't flee?" Eli shrugged, lowering his hand. "If I ran every time I saw trouble, I'd have never made it through basic." For a heartbeat, the world was still. Then she laughed, or something like it. A low, clicking sound that echoed across the dead plains. Middle, the Uneasy Alliance. Her name was Sarah Thyn of the KRYLL Vanguard, a commander of the Dominion's 4th Legion. Her gunship had been shot down during the same bombardment that wiped out Eli's squad. Both sides' communications were gone. Both were stranded behind enemy lines. Logic dictated they should kill each other. But survival has its own logic. When a swarm of feral scavenger drones descended on them, Eli didn't hesitate. He tossed her a plasma cell and yelled, "You cover left, I'll handle right." And she did, with brutal efficiency. By the time the last drone fell, the ground was littered with sparking metal and smoking debris. Sarah looked at him then, really looked at him, as if trying to decode the madness of what she'd just witnessed. "You fought beside me," she said, disbelief in her tone. "A human, helping a KRYLL." "Yeah," Eli said, wiping blood from his forehead. "You were in the way of me dying. Couldn't have that." She blinked her 4 eyes slowly. "You are insane." He smirked. "I get that a lot, too." Over the next few days, their fragile cooperation became a rhythm. Eli repaired their makeshift shelter, scavenged energy cells, and hunted for food. Sarah, in turn, used her species' advanced sensors to guide them away from radiation zones and patrol routes. They barely spoke at first. Just gestures, grunts, and a few translated words. But language Eli learned was more than words. He caught her watching him often, when he built a small fire, when he hummed an old Earth song, when he smiled at her despite the danger. It unnerved her. KRYLL were not used to warmth. One night, while they sat beneath the shattered hull of the gunship, Sarah finally asked, "Why?" "Why what?" Eli replied, poking the fire. "Why do you keep trying to make me comfortable? You are my enemy. I have killed many of your kind." Eli looked up at her, the firelight reflecting in her alien eyes. "Maybe that's exactly why," he said softly. "Someone's got to break the damn cycle." For the first time, Sarah had no reply. Middle part 2, the confession. Days turned into weeks. The war outside still raged. They could hear distant detonations, see orbital flashes in the sky. But here, in their small pocket of shared survival, something changed. Sarah's tone softened. She started asking about Earth, about its oceans, It's music. It's blue sky that isn't on fire. Eli told her about sunsets over the plains of Texas, about rainstorms that smelled like life, about how humans could fight for centuries and still fall in love during war. One evening, as they shared the last of their water supply, Sarah stared at him and asked, "Human, Eli, why do you not fear me?" He looked up from the cracked cup in his hands. "Should I?" She rose, towering over him. Her claws gleamed faintly in the moonlight. "I could end your life before you even breathe." Eli stood too, unflinching. "Then why haven't you?" Her jaw tightened. Her eyes glimmered like distant stars through fog. "Because you make me forget that I am supposed to." The air between them grew heavy, electric. Eli took a small step closer. "You asked why I didn't run," he whispered. "It's because you looked like home." Her crest flared slightly. "Home? You see home when you look at me?" He nodded.
"Yeah."
"Not the walls, not the streets, the feeling. That sense you get when you stop running. That's what you look like." Sarah inhaled sharply, the sound almost like a gasp. No one, not her warriors, not her superiors, had ever spoken to her like that. To a KRYLL, affection was weakness. But here was a fragile human, standing in the wreckage of two empires, calling her home. Without realizing it, she reached out a hand, taloned and trembling, and brushed his cheek. "You are impossible," she whispered. "Yeah," Eli said softly. "But you like that." And she did. Climax, the rescue or the choice. 2 days later, the human recon fleet finally arrived in orbit. Their sensors picked up the crash site. A squad of Marines was inbound. Eli's comms crackled for the first time in weeks. "This is Lieutenant Harker of the 21st Recon. Mercer, do you read? We're bringing you home, soldier." Eli froze. He looked at Sarah. She was already standing, her expression guarded. "You're leaving," she said quietly. He hesitated. "Come with me." Her head snapped up. "What?" "You heard me."
"Come with me."
"We'll find a way. You don't belong out here any more than I do." Her gaze darkened. "Your people would kill me on sight. And my dominion would erase me for betrayal. There is no world for us. Then we make one." For a moment, he saw something flicker in her. Longing, hope, fear. But it died quickly. "You are foolish, Eli Mercer," she said, her voice trembling. "And brave. And so very human." The dropship's engines roared overhead. Eli turned toward the sound, torn between duty and heart. "Don't," Sarah whispered. "They cannot see me." He turned back, but she was gone, vanished into the red dust, leaving behind only the faint hum of her damaged armor fading into silence. Ending the meaning. Eli returned to human space a hero. Survived 31 days behind enemy lines, the report said. Killed multiple hostiles, evaded capture, provided intel. They gave him medals. They called him brave. But he never spoke of Sarah. Months later, the war ended in a fragile ceasefire. The KRYLL delegation arrived on Earth's orbital station for peace talks. Eli, now serving as an advisor, was among the honor guard. When the KRYLL envoy entered, he froze. There she was. No armor this time. Only ceremonial robes, her crest adorned with silver bands. She looked softer. But her eyes, those blue, glowing eyes, hadn't changed. She stopped mid-step when she saw him. For a long moment, neither moved. Then, as the cameras rolled and diplomats watched, Commander Sarah Thyn of the KRYLL Dominion bowed deeply before one human officer, him. Gasps filled the chamber. No KRYLL had ever bowed to a human. And then, softly, she said in fluent Terran, You told me once that I looked like home. I wish to return the favor.